Many hundreds of years ago, in what is now the state of Utah, there lived a group of people we called the Fremont Indians. We know they were here because of the structures they built, the pictures they created, and the things they left behind. We believe they came here around the year 400, and that they stayed until the year 1300 or so. After that, we're not sure what became of them. Today, members of the Paiute tribe, the Puebloan tribes, including the Hopi and other tribes, believe the Fremont were their ancestors. Archaeologists think this is possible, but they found little evidence. What happened to the Fremont is a mystery that has not yet been solved. Fremont Indian State Park and Museum was established to preserve Fremont sites and artifacts, and to educate the public about the Fremont way of life. In 1983, during the construction of Interstate Highway 70 through Clear Creek Canyon in central Utah, the remains of a Fremont Indian village were discovered. It was located on a hill called Five Finger Ridge across the highway from where the Park Visitor Center now stands. Excited by the discovery, archaeologists from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, excavated the village. It turned out to be the largest complete excavation of any Fremont site. The BYU archaeologists performed an extensive analysis of the structures and artifacts and removed them before the ridge was destroyed by the highway construction. A number of people were concerned about the artifacts and wanted to ensure that they would be studied, preserved, and accessible to the public. They formed the Clear Creek Archaeological Association and made their concerns known to Governor Scott Matheson. Members of the Paiute and Hopi Indian tribes made it known that they felt the entire Clear Creek Canyon area was sacred and that the artifacts should be treated with the utmost respect. In 1985, the Utah State Legislature authorized the creation of Fremont Indian State Park. The new facilities were dedicated in August of 1987. That first year saw the building of the Visitor Center, along with the museum and the initial displays. Since that time, the staff has been engaged in a continuing effort to develop new features and exhibits in order to help visitors understand and appreciate the Fremont culture. The park contains 1,200 acres and is bordered by Fish Lake National Forest. Together, the park and the National Forest have beautiful scenic vistas, fascinating geological formations, and one of the best places to see rock art in Utah. Today, with over 100,000 visitors per year, the park is thriving with a wide variety of exciting outdoor opportunities. In Clear Creek Canyon, the Fremont people had many sources of food. They hunted rabbit and deer. They fished with nets, and they planted corn, squash, and beans. They also gathered edible plants. The Fremont people wore clothing from skins of animals, such as rabbit. They also made clothes from leather and from juniper bark. They lived in structures we call pit houses that were built over circular holes. The pit houses were very small compared with our houses today, but the Fremont family still managed to do a lot inside these houses. They used a shaped stone tool called a mano to crush and grind their corn in the groove of a larger stone called a metate. They probably took the ground corn or corn meal and mixed it with a little water for cooking on the fire. The Fremont used a bow to start their fires. Since this wasn't easy, they probably kept the coals burning as long as possible. Each pit house had its own fire pit for cooking and for providing heat during the winter. The pit house had a hole in the ceiling for the smoke to escape and for people to go in and out. On the floor, there was at least one ventilator shaft to let fresh air in. The Fremont people wove their clothing on looms. They cared for their children and sometimes held the babies in cradle boards. Outside each pit house on Five Finger Ridge, there was a work area. This is where the Fremont built their tools, made their baskets and pottery, and prepared the hides they used for clothing. They also made jewelry, drilling through stones, shells, or bones to make pendants and necklaces. Practically everything used by the Fremont came from nearby or was made by them. But some things, such as turquoise and shells, came from far away, so we think they traded for these items. The Fremont sometimes produced more corn than they could eat, and they stored it in structures we call granaries, perhaps for winter or for times when the harvest was poor. In addition to granaries in the village, the Fremont built granaries in more remote areas, hidden from view. The purpose of these granaries may have been to hide the grain from robbers or enemies. Because certain Fremont artifacts look similar to Paiute gaming pieces, archaeologists think the Fremont people may have played games during their spare time. The Fremont people of Clear Creek Canyon created spectacular rock art with 677 panels and over 3,700 individual figures. Some of the pictures were pecked or chiseled, probably using a stone tool. These are called petroglyphs. Some were painted. These are called pictographs. Still others were created by both painting and chipping. These are called pictoglyphs. Of the 9 known pictoglyphs in Utah, 7 are located in Clear Creek Canyon. We don't know the meaning of the rock art because the people who created it died hundreds of years ago. Even so, we have ideas about what the pictures might mean. Some of our ideas come from the Paiute and Hopi Indians, who see similarities between the Fremont rock art in Clear Creek Canyon and their own traditions. Fremont Indian State Park is open year-round, even during the winter. During the school year, the park is a favorite field trip destination for students studying Utah history.
This is going to hold your spear.
A favorite activity is throwing spears with an atlatl, a throwing device that was used before the Fremont people lived here. During the summer, the park sponsors a number of activities, including an atlatl contest, which has run continuously since 1994, attracting competitors from all over the U.S., as well as from overseas. Another summer activity is the pottery making workshop, where visitors learn how to make pots the Fremont way, layering coils of mud and baking the pots underground. The park is also becoming recognized as a great site for a variety of groups to gather. The park campground has sites for tents and RVs, as well as drinking water and modern restrooms. The 250-mile Paiute ATV trail can also be accessed from the park. While you're in the park, you may want to eat in the shady picnic area located about a mile east of the visitor center. Nearby, you'll see a reconstructed pioneer cabin. Fremont Indian State Park has many trails that will make your exploration of the area easier. The 5.5-mile Centennial Hiking-Biking Trail takes the visitor to many of the park's features. The Centennial Trail will take you past 100 Hands Cave, the Indian Blanket Pictograph, and a number of other interesting sites, including the fascinating columnar joints, an unusual geological formation created by the cooling of volcanic rock. You can get a map of the Centennial Trail at the desk in the Visitor Center. To help you get the most out of your visit, the park staff has prepared 14 trail guides, available only in the Visitor Center. These guides will help you decide which trails are appropriate for your group. Take the trail guides with you to help you understand what you see in the park. The easiest trail is number 5, the Parade of Rock Art, which starts at the flagpole by the Visitor Center. It's about a half-mile long, paved, and accessible for most people.
Before we get started, though, I want to tell you a little story. It's an Indian legend.
From the beginning of Trail 5, you can see across the parking lot to a rock called Reed Rock that the Hopi believe may represent part of a Fremont creation story. On the other side of Reed Rock is a petroglyph in the shape of a wide vertical line that the Hopi think is a picture of a reed. According to the Hopi tradition, their ancestors emerged into the world by climbing up from the underworld inside a tall river reed. They believe the wavy line above the reed shows the separation between the underworld and the upper world.
Let's go.
On Trail 5, there's a rock called Shrike Rock, which is thought by the Paiutes to represent the bird that led their ancestors to the opening that took them out of the underworld.
This is the head of the bird, this is its eye, this is the body of the bird, and it's sleeping. It's got its head tipped back over its shoulder, like under its wing, sleeping.
Trail 5 also has good examples of animal petroglyphs, especially desert bighorn sheep. These may represent what the Fremonts were hoping to hunt successfully, or what they had already hunted. Perhaps the pictures had a spiritual meaning, and they were a way of asking the gods for a good hunt, or thanking them. There's also a panel that we think is a map, possibly indicating where a good hunt took place. From Trail 5, you can enter Trail 6, the Court of Ceremonies. Trail 6 has exceptional rock art, but is steep in places. On it, you'll see a hunting scene as well as a number of human figures. You'll also see the pinyon pine and juniper trees that were important to the Fremont. If you continue on Trail 6, you'll have a nice view of the park and Clear Creek Canyon. Imagine what it looked like to the Fremont long ago, before the highway was here. At the end of Trail 6, near the east end of the parking lot, you'll find an outside pit house and granary, modeled after what the archaeologists found on Five Finger Ridge. You don't want to miss Trail 1, which is called the Rim Trail Viewpoints. This trail allows you to view the features of the Rim Trail from the roadside. From this vantage point, you can see the heaviest concentration and some of the best rock art in the park. The Rim Trail itself is steep and slippery, with sheer drop-offs. Hiking on the Rim Trail is not allowed without permission from the park staff. From the Rim Trail viewpoints, you can see the great panorama of rock art that we call newspaper rock. It has 250 petroglyphs, including human figures, desert bighorn sheep, spirals, concentric circles, and many other figures. Also visible from the same place is the largest human rock art figure in the park. On the Rim Trail, there is also a series of petroglyphs created in the 1870s by a Paiute Indian named Hunkup. One of them consists of a horse inside a building. The others are faint, but in the right lighting, you can see that they show the trains and houses Hunkup saw when he took a trip to Chicago. As you look at the rock art, you'll see places where people have carved their initials, taken shots, or otherwise vandalized these irreplaceable treasures. Not only does this ruin the rock art, but it is also an insult to Native American people who consider it to be sacred. Damaging rock art is against both state and federal law, and violators are prosecuted. Even touching it may be harmful because of the oil in your skin. Please, do your part. Take as long as you like to look and photograph, but do not touch the rock art. While you're in the Visitor Center, be sure to visit the museum. The exhibits will help you understand Fremont life. All artifacts collected from Clear Creek Canyon are either on display or in climatized storage in this building. In the museum, you'll see a model of Five Finger Ridge where you can get an idea of what the Fremont Village looked like. Stop at the reconstruction of the Fremont Pit House and hear the descriptions of its features.
The deer, taken for food, provided them with bones that they would use to make needles.
Don't miss the statue of the Fremont woman that was based on an actual skeleton found near Salina, Utah. The museum has displays of Fremont pottery, arrowheads, and footwear, as well as additional artifacts and explanations about the Fremont culture. In the Visitor Center, you'll find nature guides, books about the Fremont Indians, other Native American peoples, rock art, and Indian legends. The Visitor Center also has information about the Paiute ATV Trail, ghost towns, and other nearby historical sites. If you have questions about the park, the museum, or the Fremont Indians, please talk to the staff. They will be happy to assist you. Thank you for coming to the Fremont Indian State Park, and enjoy your visit.